Hey there everyone, this is Michael Dougal, your Greater Toronto Area real estate resource. The market was up, now the market's come down. There's a lot of questions in everybody's mind, and I'm going to share with you the most recent market stats. If you are considering buying or selling, then call me, 416-671-5218, and make sure to subscribe and drop a like if you do get value from this video. We're looking at this first chart here, which shows our GTA numbers on a month-by-month basis. And the very important numbers that I look at that tell us the general health of the market and what we can expect moving forward are these here: the sales, number of active listings, months of inventory, the average price, and DOM, that stands for days on market. When you list a property, how long does it take to sell? Right now, homes are still selling very fast. It's just that there are less buyers in the marketplace. Looking at the number of sales here, 5,250. It's surprisingly down considering the fact that in June there was almost 7,500 sales. Look at May, there was near 9,000 sales. However, if we go back to last July, there was only 4,870 sales. The number of sales and the average price dropped at a very quick pace, and what's happening now is we're hoping the same thing doesn't take place. But based on the past couple of months here in 2023, it's not looking very positive to sellers or looking positive for buyers, because buyers have to deal with this increased interest rate. When our market is very unpredictable, very volatile, the most recent interest rate hike, a lot of the buyers that were in the market before are no longer in the market because of the fact that the average price really hasn't changed that much, but their monthly mortgage payment has. Taking a look now at the active listings, that's how many listings we have up for sale for all of those potential buyers. It's 15,371. In fact, it's the highest number we've seen over the past 12 months. Going back to July 2022, we were just around that number, 15,300. Last month, take a look at that. It was 14,000. The month before, only about 12,000. So what we're seeing is less sales, at the same time, more inventory, which means it should be a better time for buyers to get in the market, but at the same time, they have these high interest rates that they're looking at, and many buyers out there are expecting interest rates to decrease in the future, so they're still on the sideline. And for all the seller clients out there, they should be rushing to put their property on the market, because if the active listings has gone up this quickly, likely there's going to be more listings in your specific area. So especially sellers who may not benefit by listing their property in this market are sellers that may already have a lot of existing listing competition. Let's say, for example, on your house, there's several properties up for sale. You don't like what those properties are listed for, and at the same time, they're not selling. Sure, maybe if you're not in a rush to get moved, then you want to think twice. But the sellers that may really benefit by listing their property now are sellers that don't have a lot of listing competition in their area. So let's say if their property comes up for sale, likely there's going to be a good pool of buyers that are looking in that specific area, and because you're not competing with any other listings, the buyers are naturally going to come to you. This is as simple as supply and demand, and homes are still selling very quickly. A lot of them are selling over asking price if they are the lower price range, because there is just so much demand and so little supply. And looking at the MOI, this tells us if it's more of a market that's advantageous to buyers or for sellers. It's at 2.93. The higher this number is, the more advantageous the market may be for buyers, and that's because of the fact that it means months of inventory, which tells us how long it would take to sell the existing about 5,200 sales, about 15,000 active listings. That's how we arrive at this number. Though look at the month of May, our MOI was only 1.32, and then at the same time, that's when the average price this year was the highest at 1.2 million. And for those of you that remember the very strong market in early 2022, that's when the MOI was actually less than 1, which means a very low supply of homes for sale and more buyers in the market. Next, let's take a look at the average price. That's what everyone always asks about, the average price. Here's the great news. It's actually higher if we compare it to where we were last year. However, it has decreased over the past few months, with our average price at $1,120,000. Be very careful what you hear about on the news. People may make it seem like we're in a bad market. We are not in a bad market at all when it comes to sellers listing their property and being satisfied with the price. Sellers are getting prices that they're very happy with, but you can always count on the news to manipulate the information to kind of scare you, and that's what they may be saying by looking at how much the average price has decreased. Because if we look at it, the average price was at 1.2 million in the month of May, and then during the month of June, 1.18 million, July 1.12 million. It's not too significant of a difference, and this is a 7% price decrease over the past couple of months. However, again, we are still at a higher price than we were last year. And then I'm thinking, like a couple years ago, we couldn't even imagine our average price being around $1 million. Now it's way more than that. Now we've well overcome that. Now taking a look at the days on market, and this is clear evidence that the market is still very strong and more of a seller's market. It's actually only 17 days. You look at the month of June, it was 14 days. May, it was 14 days as well. And then going back to July 2022, it was 19 days on the market. So if you list your property, you should expect to sell with relative ease. Next, let's take a look at how the average price has changed based upon the property style. We're looking at detached homes, semi-detached homes, townhouses, and condo apartments. And fortunately, they've actually all increased in value. If we compare July 2022 to July 2023, our average detached home is now selling for $1,427,000, though in July 2022, it was selling for $1,363,000. and that represents a 4.8% increase with the average price for detached homes. With semi-detached homes in July 2022, they were selling for $1,078,000. In July 2023, they sold for $1,102,000. That's a 2.8% increase. Townhouses had actually increased the most. They increased by 5.8%, with our average townhouse selling for $904,000 in July 2022, though in July 2023, they sold for $956,000. And condo apartments sold for $719,000 during July 2022, but in July 2023, they sold for $735,000, and that represents a 2.1% increase. With condo apartments, because of the fact that the rental market is very strong, we are still seeing investors purchase condominiums, especially pre-construction units, because of the fact that they don't want to pay the really high interest rates and buy resale now, so they would much rather just commit to buying pre-construction, and then later in the future when the property is ready to close, that's when they're going to solidify their mortgage, and then of course they're hoping the interest rates would be lower during that time. And here's how our average price has changed over the past 5 years. We're looking at the month of July specifically. In 2019, the average home in the Greater Toronto area was selling for $807,000. In 2020, it was selling for $944,000. And then from 2020 to 2021, wow, that's a pretty significant increase. Prices increased up to $1,062,000. Nobody saw that coming because of the pandemic. The average price didn't change too much from 2021 to 2022, with our average price at $1,073,000 in 2022. And then in 2023, unfortunately for sellers, but unfortunately for buyers, the average price has increased the past year quite a bit, from $1,073,000 up to $1,118,000. I hope you found this video informative. If you did, then share it with somebody else that may also benefit. And don't forget to subscribe, drop a like, and if you are considering buying or selling, call me at 416-671-5218. Rest assured, you will get great customer service. And if you're a real estate agent that's looking for a great brokerage to grow your real estate business with very low fees, then definitely reach out to me to learn more about eXp Realty. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you next time.